All right, let's settle something that's been floating around for decades. You've seen the movies. You've heard Elon Musk. Maybe you've even watched a 3-hour space documentary at 2 a.m. instead of sleeping like a normal human. But here's the question. Is colonizing Mars actually a smart idea? Or is it just rich guy science fiction? Let's dig in. First, why Mars? Out of all the planets in our solar system, Mars is kinda like Earth's cranky twin. Cold, dry, not exactly friendly, but not completely hostile either. It has a 24.6-hour day, close enough to ours, ice, hello, water potential, carbon dioxide, which plants could maybe use, and seasons, thanks to a tilted axis in space terms that's practically a vacation resort. Venus is a pressure cooker. Mercury is a sunburn. Jupiter's a gas giant with zero real estate. So Mars? It's the best bad option. So, what would it take to live there? Here's where it gets tricky and expensive. To colonize Mars, we'd need to solve 1. Transportation. Getting to Mars takes 6 to 9 months, one way. That's not a road trip. That's interplanetary survival. 2. Radiation. Mars has no magnetic field and a super thin atmosphere. That means massive exposure to cosmic rays and solar radiation. Long term, that's a health nightmare. 3. Oxygen and water. Mars doesn't have breathable air or easy access water. We'd have to extract water from ice and use tech like MOXIE, which NASA tested, to convert CO2 into oxygen. 4. Food production. You can't just plant tomatoes and hope for the best. Martian soil has toxic perchlorates. You'd need advanced hydroponics or closed-loop biospheres. 5. Mental health. You're trapped in a metal tube with a few other humans millions of miles from Earth. No fresh air. No trees, no cheese. Just isolation, danger, and endless red dust. Still sound fun? So why are people obsessed with this? Because the idea of colonizing Mars taps into 3 powerful human instincts. 1. Exploration. We've always looked for new frontiers. Oceans, mountains, the moon. Mars is just the next flagpole. 2. Survival. Some argue that having a second planet is like a backup drive for humanity. If Earth gets wrecked by climate collapse, nukes, or a giant space rock, we've got a plan B. 3. Legacy. Let's be honest. It's kind of poetic. The idea that humans who once lived in caves could become an interplanetary species. That's legacy-level stuff. But here's the catch. Is it even ethical? We talk about Mars like it's empty real estate. But what if there's microbial life? Even the tiniest bacteria would make Mars not just a planet, but an ecosystem. And we'd be the alien invaders. Plus, do we have the right to terraform another world before we've fixed our own? Colonizing Mars might sound noble. But if we trash this planet and flee to another, that's not pioneering. That's space gentrification. Let's talk money. Estimates for a functioning Mars colony range from hundreds of billions to trillions of dollars. And we're not even talking hotels and frappuccinos, just basic survival infrastructure. Some people argue that those resources could fix Earth instead. Clean energy, global education, poverty reduction, pandemic prevention. So yeah, space dreams are cool. But we can't use them as an excuse to neglect the mess down here. But here's the flip side. Mars tech helps Earth too. Space research has led to solar panel advances, water filtration systems, new farming techniques, medical monitoring tools. The tech we develop for space often circles back and solves problems here. So even if we never live full-time on Mars, the effort could still upgrade life on Earth. What are the timelines? Elon Musk says SpaceX could have a Mars base by the late 2020s or early 2030s. NASA? More conservative, 2040s at best. But a permanent colony? We're talking second half of the century if everything goes right. Mass colonization? Realistically, that's next century stuff. Unless we invent warp drive or teleportation, Mars won't be the new Earth anytime soon. So cool idea or pointless fantasy? Here's the honest answer. It's both. Colonizing Mars is wildly ambitious, brutally hard, and possibly the most expensive science project ever imagined. But it's also a symbol of hope, of innovation, of what humans can do when we stop arguing on the internet and start building things together. Maybe we'll live on Mars someday. Maybe we won't. But trying might still be worth it, for the science, the progress, and the story it tells about us. Final thought, the question isn't just can we go to Mars, it's who do we become when we try? Let me know in the comments, would you go to Mars if you had the chance? And if this video made you think, hit like, subscribe, and share it with a space nerd you know. Until next time, stay grounded, or don't. We're literally reaching for the stars now.